Scientists have discovered the entity that could have created the universe, and it was right under our noses the whole time without us recognizing it. The ingenious discovery has now been made by scientists from the University of Chicago and Princeton University. This milestone in the exploration of the true origins of the universe takes us back to the moment when the complete equilibrium of formless quantum fluctuation decided to become all that we know today. Endless seas of stars, millions of galaxies, and a colorful variety of planets. Whoever is behind making all this happen is the creator of the universe and will tell you what that is. Robert Wald, Gautam Satish-Chandran, and Daniel Danielson are three researchers at the University of Chicago and the renowned Princeton University in the USA. The three of them looked at the idea of the Big Bang from the perspective of quantum theory and came to an astonishing conclusion as to who created our universe. To understand their idea, we first need to take a brief excursion into the world of quantum physics and the theory of the Big Bang. Quanta are particles of light and are effectively the building blocks of our matter. Although these particles can be broken down into even smaller particles, a quantum is a good benchmark for understanding the structure and true nature of matter. Quanta have some fascinating properties. They have wave and particle form at the same time. This means that a quantum remains in an undefined wave state and therefore in an undefined form until it is measured. This measurement is an exciting moment because it determines what form the quantum will take. This behavior was noticed in the famous double-slit experiment, in which researchers sent a photon beam through a slit and looked at the image projected on the screen. The particles initially formed a wave pattern when a measurement was taken and a defined line appeared. This experiment shows and proves that matter only takes on its form because or when there are observers who measure it and thus define it. The measurement can be a technical device, but it can also be our human consciousness. Now we come to the Big Bang. From the perspective of quantum physics, before the Big Bang that gave birth to our universe, there was a carpet of constantly fluctuating quanta. Quanta appear within this vacuum, then neutralize each other and disappear again. At the quantum level, there is no such thing as nothing. This form of fluctuation only seems like nothing to us because no matter is formed within it and no physically measurable forces arise or can be measured. Basically, however, this quantum carpet is something like a gigantic, unformed potential. So, before the Big Bang, this carpet existed, then a particle sheared off and did not neutralize itself. The Big Bang developed from this moment in a chain reaction. Extreme heat was generated, and within a few moments the building blocks of the elements and all the things we see today were formed. The magic question so far has been why this one particle escaped and formed matter. According to quantum theory models, there must have been an observer, and this observer can be seen as the creator of the universe. But who or what witnessed this moment when there was actually nothing? The Great Observer. What or who could be this magical observer? A force, an entity, or something completely new? Let's put it this way. It's a mixture of all these aspects, and the idea behind it ingenious. What if a black hole was the observer that triggered the Big Bang? Yeah, you heard right. The entity that could have created the entire universe could be a black hole. Now you're probably wondering how such a cosmic monster is supposed to act as a measurement. It's actually quite simple. Stephen Hawking, the brilliant physicist, postulated that black holes can actually emit radiation due to quantum mechanical effects. Until his discovery, this was considered impossible because, from a physical point of view, nothing that gets into a black hole can escape, and black holes do not emit anything. But Hawking discovered something else. Minimal quantum fluctuations occur near the event horizon. Particle-antiparticle pairs are constantly being generated there, just as they were in the state before the Big Bang. Some of these particles can demonstrably escape the gravitational pull of the black hole, while the entangled opposite particle falls into it. The escaping particles form what is known as Hawking radiation. Hawking went one step further and discovered that the information about the particles that fall into the black hole is not actually lost forever, but is stored in the weak radiation near the event horizon. We can imagine these information structures as the finest hairs, and Stephen Hawking called this structure soft hair. The three brilliant researchers from Princeton and the University of Chicago came up with the ingenious idea that the soft hair could act as an observer for quantum particles outside the event horizon. They proved that this weak radiation is theoretically capable of interacting with other quantum particles. The interaction can be an act of observation or measurement and can influence the superposition of a quantum particle and collapse it to a determined state. Now, of course, we can ask ourselves why a black hole should trigger a Big Bang and why it was present at all, or rather, before the birth of the universe. In the theory of the three US researchers, a black hole becomes the trigger for the creation of a new universe due to the unique conditions at its event horizon. This suggests that black holes, or a single black hole in the perfect composition of our universe, were certainly not there by chance to initiate the birth of a universe. If this is true, then the black hole was there for a reason. Let's first look at Sir Roger Penrose's idea of the cyclic universe. This tells us that our universe is just one of many that come into being, expand, and decay one after the other in a kind of chain of events. According to Penrose's idea, the end of an old universe could look like a gigantic black hole, or perhaps even several black holes that have absorbed all the matter in the end. Consequently, these black holes are exactly what remains of the universe. Then, all that remains is the sizeless quantum fluctuation that we find today everywhere in the apparent nothingness of our universe. Due to the information that the black hole has stored within itself, it holds all the information and thus the potential for a new universe. Hawking showed us that the information escapes from the dark giant in the form of hairs, and if this radiation has the potential to put quanta into a determined state, the calculation is actually quite simple. The black hole has eaten everything in the end, and then a new universe is created from a small burp of this giant. It's a strange image, but from a scientific point of view, it's absolutely possible. So, you could think of black holes as a cosmic reset button that is pressed and starts a new game, or, in this case, a new universe. Now, we have a possible scientific explanation for the trigger. But then, is the black hole really the creator in the sense of an intelligence that makes everything we know? Is there an intelligent creator? It's actually hard to believe, but the scientific community is still split into two groups. Some believe that our universe is nothing but a coincidence, born out of chaos, without a purpose, without an intelligence or plan behind it. But if we look at the precision and fantastic circumstances from which a star is born, that then shines for billions of years, or the diversity and geometric precision of galaxies, we find it hard to believe that this was not created by an intelligence. Scientists are still struggling with the concept of a creator, or possibly even a god. Who or what is that supposed to be? Religion and science have long since separated, and hardly anyone in physics today wants to know anything about the idea of a god. Interestingly, George Lumet, of all people, the father of the Big Bang Theory, was a clergyman. The priest, who was also a lecturer in astrophysics, did not see the contradiction in the two disciplines that many other scientists see. Lumet saw God as something like the giant mathematician or physicist behind everything. He also said that we can only approximate the work of God through science and formulas, but that the true splendor and power of God cannot be calculated. It must be experienced or felt within. For many modern currents of spirituality, God is nothing more than a powerful consciousness that acts as an observer, just like us. These ideas are mostly based on many Eastern wisdom teachings and religions that spread the multiverse and even the basics of quantum physics thousands of years ago. In the views of these religions, we and everything that exists are an inseparable part of God. So God may either have observed the Big Bang himself, or, in his basic programming, he may have allowed black holes to do this job. After all, God certainly has other things to do than create a new universe every half hour. Our universe is just a grain of sand in the multiverse. It gets even more exciting, because if we look at the ideas of the multiverse, which are consistent with the observations of quantum physics, our universe is just one of many. There are possibly as many universes as we have discovered galaxies, and that's billions. We can currently survey around 90 billion light years and see a universe that so far shows us no spatial end. We don't know how much more there is, but better and better technologies will probably open up our focus further and further. We cannot rule out the possibility that we are only seeing a small part of the whole. Above the unity of a universe, far larger spaces and entities may exist that we are not yet aware of, and these two could form an infinite group of further spaces or dimensions. For our brains, the idea of infinity and these infinite possibilities is a challenge, yet the idea is exciting and captivates many space enthusiasts. There is plenty of mathematical and physical evidence that this is exactly our reality. Many of our unsolved mathematical problems are solved as soon as the existence of further dimensions is allowed, and a German physicist named Burkhard Heim even discovered evidence for a God dimension in the middle of the last century, which will probably forever elude our ideas and scientific approaches. Become a subscriber now and be part of all new video hits.